All right, welcome back to our episode 5, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
Episode 5.
episode 5. And yeah, you guys know me. I'm Coach Rio. I'm from the Prep Coach. We bring you guys the Prep Talk together with my co-host, Coach Sari.
Yep.
And yeah,
So we're back here at episode 5. I think we're going to talk about pre-contest.
yeah, pre-contest. Before we head into the topic itself, thanks again to Field Stretch Performance for sponsoring this podcast. Without them, we are not here.
Yep.
Having a platform for you guys out there, to reach to you guys out there, to share more about the inside of bodybuilding and fitness in Singapore.
Okay, just if a shout out to them. You want to get yourself stretched out to increase mobility and flexibility, and also to help you to mitigate issues when you're training. Give them a DM on their Instagram.
Yep, hit them up on Field Stretch Performance IG and also their website.
All right. Okay. Good. Now,
yeah,
let's dive into pre-contest.
Yeah, so on episode 4, we covered more into bodybuilding off-season, right? Yeah, so on episode 5 now, we're going to touch base basically on pre-contest, in other words, on-season.
Okay.
Yeah, so on-season wise, likewise, people will have a lot of ways. People will always find the easy way out. What I mean by easy way out, can I prep 8 weeks out? Can I prep 10 weeks out? Can I prep 12 weeks out? I mean, everyone wish that they can prep at a minimum of 12 weeks out. Everyone wish to do that, but unfortunately, the truth is not everyone have that opportunity to do a 12 week out unless you are very, very, I would say, from my point of view, unless you are very disciplined with your development season, you are very on point, and you are very, I would say, you're a very strong integrity person.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is that when you start off, if you want to do a 12 weeks out, your starting point to get that 12 weeks out should be impeccable.
For sure.
In fact, you are looking as if you can compete in 2 weeks or 3 weeks out.
Yep.
Then that's where 12 weeks out is actually a more viable timeline if you're like that.
Definitely.
But if you have some issues in terms like over accumulation of body fat during off season, you're not so consistent, then I would say 16, even 18 weeks out is a fairer approach. You know what I mean?
Even it can even pull to a 20 to 24 weeks
Yeah,
out.
depending on how well your body can climatize to pre-season.
Okay, let's say someone having a decent physique, decent start model. What would not what would I would say? What's your preference personally? Would you love to start on a longer prep, or would you start on the mid prep, or would you prefer to start on the short prep?
I would love to start somewhere in between.
Alright.
Okay, the longest probably would be 18 weeks.
Alright.
The shortest, in fact for me the shortest, and I'm trying to be very conservative.
Alright.
Conservative and safe. I would like to have 16, 18. 12 to me is too short because you don't have the buffer if anything goes wrong in between that.
Yeah.
And if you go, this is my own personal view, if you go 20, even 22 or even 24 weeks, it's a bit too long.
Oh yeah.
I'm more concerned the mental fortitude of that person going into 24 weeks or 22 weeks out.
Understand. So in terms of to mitigate that mental fortitude, I mean, is it because of their own discipline, their own integrity that they did? I mean, as people know, bodybuilding is a tough sport. You need to basically suck it up.
Yep.
And you know that you're going to do a show, and every actions and directions that is given from your coach and stuff, it boils down into your physical appearance, your data from your blood work on how you have really followed the protocol and stuff, right? So what I'm trying to say is basically like if you can't mitigate that mindset, that mental focus, I mean, it always boils down to blame yourself to it. Don't you think so?
Yes. There's also, you must also consider, okay, there are other variables in terms like sometimes if you push too hard from the beginning of the prep,
Yeah,
and then you do not know how to pull the handbrake,
yeah,
and giving some leeway for the body to adjust back,
yeah.
and in terms of the, when I say adjust back, trying to get the whole groove going again,
Yeah.
before, or rather you already hit a wall, is more for the athlete to give that feedback.
Alright.
So at least it's a two-way street, and when that happens, the athlete per se can actually do it. In terms of, when I say do it, meaning they have the discipline and the fortitude to still push on. Like I always say this to my clients or even my athletes. It's like fishing. Once you're in prep season, right, it's like fishing. How much slack you give the fish is your body, right? How much slack you will give it, or how much tension you're going to pull it back, in terms of like how much leeway you're going to give your body to respond, and how much hammer you're going to drop to get things going. So it's a tug of war kind of thing, but
Yep.
you still want the body to go how you want it to be.
Alright, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, in terms, why I'm saying this is because, I mean, every coaches have their different technical
Approaches,
approaches on how they want to start the prep and stuff. Because usually, I mean, for myself personally, I would love to start the prep depending case on case basis, right? On each client, but some clients we need to start very aggressive. Yeah, some client we can cruise in,
Yep.
and some client we can be meeting in the middle. They are playing the intensity and the aggressiveness in the middle.
Correct.
That sweet spot. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is basically how much of your client, that an athlete that you have to really push aggressively at start, and looking at the pool of athletes now currently in Singapore and stuff, do you think that most of them have not been that aggressive to push? That's why we are lacking that standards of conditioning in Singapore.
I only have one athlete that have to start aggressive, because that said athlete wasn't with me during the off season and stuff, and the starting point wasn't that great. So when I say start aggressively, you have to start it at the point where the carbohydrate variable have to really be manipulated to the point where the body has no choice but to react in terms like start to use, or rather utilize, fat for energy. So when that happens, there only so long that you can do that. Then where you have to taper back, or rather pull a handbrake, and then you re-include or reintroduce carbohydrate back into the system, so that will keep the fire of metabolism going up.
Understand.
That, and on top of that, I will start cardiovascular work a bit more aggressive, then I will taper it down. But thankfully, that's only for one set athlete. Other than that, most of my guys or ladies, they will start a bit more cruising. And when I say cruising, meaning from let's say the calories is, sometimes I would use the variable of calories or even carbohydrate as a marker, decreasing it from let's say 4,000 calorie, bring it down to minus 200 calories per day or per week. See how that goes, and then if that bodes well for the body and the athlete, we keep it that way. And then we only introduce cardio aggressively, or up the cardio a bit more, like probably week 2 or week 3 of the starting of the prep. Okay, so from there, then we start to reduce carbohydrate, and I'm a very big proponent of carb cycling. carb cycling, right? So sometimes I have guys who probably their low end of carbohydrate per day can be as low as 300 grams of carbs a day.
Okay.
But in relation to that, they have to actually the adaptable range of carbs which the body can still hold on and without putting on body fat is sometimes as high as 400 grams, 350 grams per day.
Okay.
Because remember, they have ever gone to as high as 600 grams a day kind of thing. So you bring it down that way, people might think, wow, you still have an allowance of 300 grams. For me, that I'll be still putting on body fat. But for that person, it's not. They're barely surviving. You know what I mean? So it'd be envious for some guys who like, oh, you have 350 grams of carbs a day, and still you look like that. But don't forget, in the off season, we have developed that that tolerance.
Yeah. So exactly. I totally agree. I mean, in terms of that's why we mentioned previously in our off season episode is whereby if you dial in properly and that integrity to hold and be very disciplined in your off season. Follow the plan. Communication is key with your coach and stuff. You simply see how easy. I would say how easy lah. How smooth your pre-contest.
Transition from the off season to the pre-contest.
Your pre-contest shouldn't be a struggle. Because it's once the pre-contest transition starts, that's where you tend to get more motivated because the goal, the finish line is there to see.
You're gonna see the light soon.
You know that okay, the show is coming. You're gonna look freaking great. You're gonna look really good. You have a six pack, your shredded serrators and stuff. So this should be a tool to motivate you. I believe so.
I mean, the more you see changes, I wouldn't say daily first, bi-weekly first, and as you get closer to the show, of course, it will be daily. That would be more a factor mentally for that said athlete, because you look, humans are more into the mental part as a motivation to keep on going. So if we are so visual person, so we visual people. So once you see visually that we have changes, that's where the motivation comes in, and that drives them to push harder. Right? So sometimes you have to play the mental games with some guys or some girls, so that you can make them mentally better. That you see changes there, and then that drives them to be more positive in terms of training, or rather enjoying the pre-contest.
True.
Right?
Yeah. So in that case also, I mean, I would love to mention in terms of for myself how I basically mitigate around fatigue, exhaustion, in terms of when, because for the audience that they would understand they would probably ask, when do you bring down the food, when do you execute the exploitation of activities and stuff like that. Usually my approach is with the feedbacks and stuff in the check-ins, I always take note about whether they are hungry and on their fatigue level and exhaustion level. So as much as possible, I don't want to pull out a lot of food too drastic, because how much food do you want to bring up from contest prep, right? So if for myself, I would observe basically if they are tired and they're not hungry.
That's
a sign whereby I would pull down their food a bit more. So if they are hungry and they're not tired, really I would push the lever up more into exploitation of activities such as their mandatory cardio or steps. To rather hold that food. So these are basically the key points for me as a coach to see, alright, I have a lever that I can play with, that I can play with your fatigue and exhaustion level, by also observing on how you feel basically on your food itself. That's how I approach. How about yourself? Just to
if feedback in terms like they're telling me, look, I'm hungry, and I'm not actually performing in terms of in the gym and feel a bit weak. I mean, when I say weak, it's relative. If you can still push as hard as you can, and your strength level don't drop so drastically, you're still okay, right? I wouldn't say to that person, "Oh, suck it up. This is part of prep." No, no, no. This feedback is very important.
Yep.
So I'm hungry, and then I will look back at the meal plan. Look, you still have this, and from the check-ins and how they look from the pictures, I will definitely still hold on to that, and probably the following week, and when there's the check-in pictures come in, if the physics start to show some deterioration, right? Okay, that's where I will decrease the steps, decrease the cardio for the whole week.
What do you mean by deterioration? So our guest can
like
understand.
probably their body a bit more flat,
That.
and in terms of the facial, even look. Sometimes people take pictures and not they won't be smiling, right? So if you're feeling great, you'll be smiling. The facial expression is there, and then
And the skin texture is also smooth.
smooth, and you're flat, and the whole physique looks watered down, rather not a film of water. There's no pop in the whole physique. That's where actually I will increase carbohydrate intake, right? And I will reduce the reduce all the cardio to probably minus by 10. If they're doing 40 minutes, I minus 10 minutes out of it. Then I increase the carbs. I will not give a cheat meal. I increase the carbs every 3 days. Then I bring it down again. I'm a big cycling, carbo cycling.
So to say with increasing the carb and stuff, would you meddle around with bringing down the protein intake, or
no. The only thing that changes is carbohydrate.
Alright.
I will keep as much as I can. I will keep the protein relatively high
to the end of the show.
No. Of course not. During the end of the show, carbo loading, of course, protein.
Just for those.
So protein, it depends. Like 3 weeks out might be a bit higher, because when I try to bring down the carbohydrate a bit more, and when that happens, of course the body will still use protein for energy. There's a process there. I don't want to get too detailed about it. So even though you increase your protein intake, you still can survive, right? So it's almost going down a more athlete based keto. But the thing you not forget, everything you eat also, even though you reduce the carbohydrate, even there is some form carbs in your vegetables. So the only variable I change is always carbs. And fat, I would say, even though I would say that to put in X amount of fat in your diet,
I feel by that point, fat would be whether it's a necessity or not to hold the body, to satiate the digestion. Not really specifically that your body really need that fats in your body. That's how I feel at the end of the prep. It's how you're gonna use that fats to really hold that hunger, hold that look, and play around with it. That's how I observe and see, and how I approach.
It's a two-way approach where you can use fat to manipulate how you look. Okay, and of course to make the said athlete a bit more feeling fuller. But in leading up to starting of the prep, leading up to the end of the prep, the fats are low for me. That means even though I put, let's say, 80 grams of fat, that 80 grams of fat is not added on. Meaning
it's from your chicken,
from your chicken, your prawn, your fish, everything. That means you're not going to add like 80 grams of almonds or peanuts, whatever. Not even from what do you call that? On a spray. But remember, a lot of people like to spray the death out of it, right?
So you take basically on the trace fat from all these sources. Correct. I understand.
So that's easily measurable.
For sure.
So
if you have the tool,
and the thing is that if you control one variable, it's easier to manage.
I mean, I believe so. Because in your term you call it variable, I call it levers.
Yeah.
Because if you keep switching on and off 2 to 3 levers at a time, then by the time you reach the middle way of the prep, you have nothing else to control.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
In fact, it caused some, a lot of confusion in the person's body.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's either you go one way or you go the other way.
Exactly. Yeah.
You at least you can control certain variables, and certain variables let the body do its job.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would rather always like to control the energy
Enough.
consumption.
Yep.
Right. So you play around the energy consumption and the energy output from that person.
Yep.
Right. So
Makes sense.
the more it's basically
Yep.
calories in, calories out.
Yeah,
But
CICO.
this is a bit more a bit different from a perspective of competitive bodybuilders. Right?
Yeah, I mean there's more context than just CICO. Yeah, but like, I mean, like the famous coach Greg Doucette say, he always believed in CICO. I'm not saying that he's wrong. He's totally right. But there's always context when it comes to bodybuilding. Yeah, you
Yes.
can use a direct CICO approach in normal lifestyle. Yeah, but because you just want to get that skill down, you just want to be as
Lean as possible.
and get into that whatever attire that you want to be.
Yeah.
But for bodybuilding, there's context, there's areas that we need to look upon, not only to just bring the calories down. We also need to know when we want to use this source of carbs that's coming in, when we want to ensure that we pull back our cardio.
It's more detailed.
Yeah, it's more detailed.
Yeah.
So you guys need to understand bodybuilding is
Extreme.
extreme. Yeah, extreme. In a way, I would say like bodybuilding is easy to a surface. Yeah, but it's very hard. Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
Is
hard in terms of complexity of what's behind.
that scene?
Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah,
So, I want to put it this way: it's simple to the point. It's complex.
yep,
You know what I mean? If anyone gets that, you would know that the simplicity is behind the complexity. You know what I mean? So, to some laymen out there say, "Oh, there's so much work to be done." But if someone has been doing many years, or already been doing for X amount of weeks,
yep.
it's actually very simple.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But someone who has not been in that kind of world is something that will blow their mind.
Yep.
As simple as, okay, let's say I asked one guy to increase the carb to 120, and that guy
The whole day.
120 probably a day, the whole day.
Alright.
And then he will weigh it and he said 5 grams doesn't matter. Now sometimes that 5 grams does matter.
Yeah, for sure.
So a layman will go, 5 grams, never mind, right? So that doesn't really impact him in his daily life. But
Even more in a pre-contest.
in pre-contest is accumulation.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
more every day, never mind, another five, you know, but
Exactly.
it will accumulate to the end of the week,
Yeah.
and that's where the physique will show.
It's like taking a potato chip and you put it on a weighing scale.
Yeah, those Instagram
It's
reels,
0
you know,
gram, it's 0
gram,
calories.
I mean, so anyway, Shafiq's leaving.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing is that, look, if anyone trying to approach a pre-contest diet and everything, let it be with him doing alone or with a coach. It does have a better. It will be better with a coach.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
Of course, you have them more accountable, and then the approach is totally different. But budget-wise and so on and so forth, you might be not able to get a coach. Never mind, you learn. You learn as you go on. Everyone learn from their own mistakes.
Yeah, because I believe now social media there's a lot of information.
Yep.
Just so you need to know that which
source of information.
source
is-
of information and platform and that are relatable, that really giving a good insight and information about prepping that you can follow and to understand to have some guidance, because there's so much information out there, handful that I've seen that is nonsensical.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's more for views.
Yeah, for
views,
sure.
followers, or they're selling something.
Yep.
As simple as that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm having this platform, is to reach to our fellow Singaporeans and it's been a while that there's no one having that voice to speak. That's why I personally approached Sari, and he was up to
task.
to task this with me and stuff. So yeah, we agreed, and like we just sidetrack a bit. Just basically to reach and to share with you guys like how we can help and how we want to bring the Singapore bodybuilding and fitness scene together, so we can help one another in terms of preparation, in terms of supporting morale. You know, not to basically diminish you guys.
We're not out here to say certain things are done wrong. Our way is right. We explore everything. Look, it's like no one exercise is bad.
Yeah, true. Unless you don't do.
Don't do, or you execute it improperly.
Yeah.
Right. This is the whole picture about it. And also, I also told him, look, we're not gonna only not talk about. We're not gonna only talk about bodybuilding only. We're gonna talk about general fitness, right? General fitness meaning those people who go to the gym and train, not trying to be a bodybuilder.
Even training in a condo gym, even training by yourself, following the YouTube and stuff. What can you benefit and what you can't benefit from there, and what basically tips that you can take from us. Yeah.
It's not that. Look, we talk about extreme ends of bodybuilding, but if a general person who wants to learn about trying to lose weight or trying to build muscle, they don't need to go extreme. Just take the basics that they learn from us, and then they continue and they get better.
Yeah, the outline, the structure is similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, it's just that, as always, Sari love to mention, bodybuilding is extreme. Yeah.
So I mean, look, we also want to help the general community to get healthier. And using fitness or even bodybuilding methods to get to that stage, get healthier. I mean, look, the sport is still healthy, but if you're doing bodybuilding, it's extreme. So if you want to learn a bit more about trying to lose weight or lose body fat or even trying to put on muscle, we got the tools here to help you out. But those athletes are different, so the approach of course will be different. So it does help in both spectrum of the society.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're such a small community. We can actually include the rest of the community to help them out also.
For sure.
We want to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Anyone, probably a housewife somewhere who wants to learn how to diet or how to do stuff like that, they can learn.
Do something at home, you know, stay active and stuff like that. Yeah, walk the dog, walk the kids and stuff. Yeah.
Walking is the best exercise. Anyone tell you that walking is not good, unfriend them.
Or block them.
Or block them, yes.
So that's what this platform is all about. So getting back into this topic and stuff, we were talking about food, calories and stuff like that. So in terms, let's go to the back end of it of the preparation. What can we share to educate or share some knowledge to our audience in terms of peak week? Peak week is like peak week became what I realized from long ago, probably in your time as well. It become like a religious thing. It becomes like something
magical.
Magical. It's like it's peak week. I need to do this. It's a must for me to do this and for me to do that. So in my understanding and my approach, I always say to my athletes and stuff, what is not broken, we don't change.
You see, some people will approach peak week, they will do a rain dance and then they will increase their physique, the look of the physique by 5%. Probably they run around the tree or something like that. Do something out of norm what you've been doing. Like, look, there's nothing much you can do.
Change the source of food. That's what I heard as well.
Please. Look, if you've been using fish,
your rice, you don't use rice, you use rice cake. But you haven't been eating that rice cake since that past 16 weeks.
Or even since off season.
So
I mean, so why do change that? So if the most you change is the amount. The amount of food you eat. Right? And then, if the worst case scenario, of course, there's some people who probably been eating chicken too long. It causes such issues in terms of the gut, distended and you can't digest, yes, that's where you change the protein source.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
to touch base on this, that's why for me myself, I'm not sure about you, sorry, but you can share your side as well after this. It's like for me, that's why I always like to mix around the source of protein source and even carbohydrates. It's because of the macro and micronutrients to help the digestive system for our body.
Yep.
Yeah, because having the same, yes, I can understand there's a budget way as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
but I would always inform my clients, my athletes that yes, I understand it's going to be a bit hassle to have different kind of sauce, but in the long run, this will help you to really enforce a good digestive system for yourself.
It's a long term thing.
Yeah, due to what is it due to? It's for your basically your intake of your macronutrients and your micronutrients. Yeah,
So it's more basically saying that what you eat you can absorb well.
Yeah.
It will show for your physique.
yep,
Yep. So in terms of from my approach is that there's certain source of protein I will keep it there, right? Because the body is used to it.
Understand.
And when coming closer to 3 weeks out, the only yes, of course, the main like, put it example. You have beef. You have beef. Beef, chicken, fish, prawns,
Prawn, yeah.
or even salmon for a bit more fattier fish. All these protein sources, in some way or other, will be in that meal plan.
Yep.
Yeah. So that the body not a stranger to all those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely beef is more to hold the size, or rather not the size, the fullness, because there's good fats.
Yeah,
inside
because
there,
of
no?
good fats and stuff. Yeah, true.
So of course you will not. It depend. In mid term of the pre-contest, you will try to remove. Not say remove, take it out, right, and then put more fish, white fish, tilapia.
Case to case basis as well. Yeah.
Of course. So when that approach happens, the body will start to change. With that changes coming in, that's where the body will try to adapt. Alright, so when the body start to adapt, become flattening out, that's where you remove probably 1 or 2 meal of fish, they put in beef or with eggs to just make you look fuller. This is part where the manipulation of the meal plan plays a big role. And when I say the body is not a stranger to any of the protein sources, the reason being so that your body won't find that what the hell is this? I'm not being eating it.
Yeah.
I can't digest it and bloat this guy out, right? So at least you get familiarized with all those food. That's where the off season is very important.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, I try to keep my carbo sources as close to what off season looks like.
It should be in a way.
It should be,
yeah.
yeah. If things like, I'm not a big fan of brown rice because there's too much fiber in that. I mean,
Good one.
Okay.
Let's touch base on this.
okay, too much fiber also will blow you out, gas you out, and then even for me myself, too much broccoli also is not a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I need to find something that is a bit more digestible. My body agrees with it.
Spinach.
Yeah, spinach,
Yeah.
even celeries, asparagus. These are
It's leafy vegetables. Yeah.
I mean, nothing against broccoli. Some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can digest it,
true.
but too much of broccoli, too much fiber also is not too good.
Yep.
Right. So look, this is the part where balance is okay. You don't have too much of one thing. Too much of a good thing also bad.
Yep.
Right. So you need to rotate them around.
And just based on what you're saying, brown rice, just so you guys to know that it's not brown rice is better than white rice and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The reason we avoid brown rice, probably for him as well, is because brown rice is covered by bacteria. Yeah, with the bacteria, it will cause a lot of issues to your digestive system. So that's why I've been stopping using that for myself and even for my client. Yeah, and yeah, some clients came in and asking me why can we eat brown rice? It's much more it's low GI. I mean, I don't care about the low GI for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look. If you've been eating rice since young,
Yep,
you have developed a tolerance of that.
exactly.
So why would you change something even though
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
healthier?
Yep.
Look, it's healthier to some people, and they can digest well if they've eating it since young.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't change what your body is already used to,
Definitely.
unless it's causing issues.
Yep,
If it's causing issues, yeah, you switch it.
definitely.
If not causing issues, don't fix something that's not broken. As simple as that. So that's why I say the simplicity is coming from the complexity itself, right?
True.
So if people try to be a bit more complex in how they approach this thing, it will be more of a, what do you call it, a drawback.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, you're not taking one step forward, you're taking a few steps backwards.
Yep.
So just as simple as you can make the diet, do it.
True.
Don't complex the, don't be too over complex with putting in, these guys saying this brown rice is healthy and ton of broccoli, and then after that, after a while, coach, giving me a lot of gas. I mean, I've been farting left and right, you know.
Have you heard about maybe we have a few minutes left to the show, but I'll touch a quick one. Have you heard about a lot of people saying that, I can't eat beef, it make me bloated?
Okay. Look, if you have bloating issues with beef, that means you have gut issues, right? So if you have gut issues, it's more of like you need to, I put it this way, get a plumber to get that gut issue done. So basically, it's either that you're not eating the right kind of vegetable to help with the digestion of the beef, right? Or there's some, probably the cut of the beef you're getting it wrong.
Yep.
You need something leaner.
Exactly.
And the way you cook the beef probably does have issues with it. And or the best case scenario is, the worst case scenario is that you leave the beef out too long, and then you try to microwave it. Then this is the best one, right? Then the smell starts to be funky, and you so-called I hardcore, I still eat it.
True.
And then you got issues. Then you blame the beef.
For me, usually, I mean, what I came across is they okay. One fine thing that I came across is usually they don't weigh their food. When they come to me and say, this and stuff, I have beef issues with I'll take note. But once we start preparation in the development season and stuff, I still insert and stuff. Why? It's because I want to see whether they know what they are doing, and with that amount that I'm giving them, it's satiate just nice for them, that they can digest well. Most cases that I see is basically they are surprised. Then they'll come to me and they say, I can this time around I can digest beef well.
The amount was too much previously.
The amount was too much, and like whatever you have mentioned just now. These are the things whereby I would say the lack of understanding to what kind of food and how the food should be done and stuff to consume. I mean, you gut issues. This is where during
the off season
after a show whereby you junk yourself with food, that is where your gut issue comes around.
That created the damage to begin with.
Created the damage that to begin with, like Sari mentioned, and then you want to bounce it into a show again. Then you thought that beef caused this issue. This food caused me this issue. So usually it's not the beef or not the prior source that causing the issue. It's probably what is the aftermath of the rebound issue. Usually that's the case.
So look, like I said earlier, if you can't digest your food, right, you address the issue of your gut. A lot of people, budget wise and so on and so forth, get a pretty good pre and probiotic supplement.
Start with that, I would say.
Or even include papaya, pineapple. They have
fruits.
A lot of digestive enzymes. If you can't afford to get a digestive enzyme supplement, buy papaya, buy pineapple, way cheaper.
I mean, both sources are easy to find. There's NTUC.
Look, you can couple the beef meal. You can couple the beef meal with papaya and pineapple. It helps to digest it better. It will not give you gut issues unless you really got issues. And I was.
You can use pumpkin as your carbohydrates.
They can refer you to a doctor. Then probably you need issues to be addressed there. So, but if you don't need any medical help, look, it's more of like probably the amount of beef too much. Find the sweet spot, and then you have something to help chase it down. Things like papaya, pineapple. Because these two fruits are not very high in fructose, and they still have bromelain which is the byproduct of
Yep.
digestive enzyme supplements. So rather than you buy the supplement, you go straight to the source.
True.
And if you have a sweet tooth, pineapple is good.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, one caveat. Do not buy the pineapple from the can, Okay?
Oh, I hear
Okay?
I hear this story before, though.
Don't buy the pineapple for the can, right?
This
The
is
amount of sugar there.
It's a very legendary story that I heard before about this. Yeah, buying was asked to buy a pineapple, and this person bought a pineapple in a can, in a tin.
Nice.
That was like, oh man, that's totally wrong.
Even though you throw out the syrup and you wash it up, there is still a lot
Yeah,
of sugar.
it's
inside.
already fermented, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, just get yourself one whole pineapple, you cut it up nicely, put it in the fridge, and you put it in a Ziploc bag, whatever not, right? You carry it around with your meals.
Yep.
Simple as that. I mean, it's satisfying in case you have a sweet tooth. You eat like your chicken or fish or what with the pineapple.
If you want to
dessert.
make things easier for you, just carry a weighing scale in your bag,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cold storage, and you see
They already
fruit
cut it up.
store,
They cut it up for you.
around Singapore. So yeah, you don't worry about
You buy
that.
$1 or $2, you're done. You're good.
Just buy this size of weighing scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy it on Shopee.
Yeah, true enough. All right, I guess anything else you wanna add on to this?
Like, look, if you really need more personalized approach, you can always approach us on our DMs, his IG or my IG, right? So from there, we can probably tackle your issues from into a more personalized way. And then what we give you here is more of a general outlook of
Yep.
how a pre-contest looks like. Of course, everyone is different. We will try to approach everyone differently. There's no cookie cutter plans here. All right.
We will love to hear from you guys out there.
Or like comment down the box and see what other topics you want to talk about.
Yeah. If you feel shy to drop us a DM personally and stuff, drop into the comment box and shoot us some questions or whatsoever that you want us to talk a bit more.
Correct.
That to help you. But I mean, if you really want us to dive deeper to help you personally, don't be shy. Drop to Sari Instagram. What's your Instagram again?
SariSide69.
SariSide69, and you can drop to my personal account as well, Riodi Mok Halil, and also my coaching account, the Prep Coach by RDM. Yeah. So we are here to get everyone together. We are here to help those that in needs and share knowledge and bring the bodybuilding scene in Singapore together as well.
We bring it up. I mean, we improve the standard as much as we can. Right? And
It has
be
to
more-
start somewhere.
And we try to be more informative
Yeah.
in how we approach bodybuilding and prepping, off season, whatever not, right?
Yeah,
Even training, huh?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. That is the key lah. So as for now, we are covering more locally and stuff. So hopefully, if we have a lot of support from you guys, a lot of subscribers, switch on your notification, share this around.
Yep.
If we have a lot of support from you guys, we both have intention to step out of our locals to our neighbors,
regional,
Southeast Asia, and even probably we have connection to Europe and the Western country. But that is basically our milestone that we want to go further. Not only to satisfy our need, but it's to deliver to you guys a good podcast and stuff.
So that's something you can probably look forward watching while eating your meals. You know what I mean?
Doing
And
your
you
cardio.
You learn something out of it, and you go and you have an aha moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably something you can utilize and improve what you've been doing.
All right.
Right.
Okay. So once again, Feel Stretch Performance, our sponsor for this podcast. Thank you, Sari, to
Thank
be
you, Rio.
present in all these episodes and stuff. So subscribe, like,
and share.
share, switch on that notification so you know that we have a new episode. Till then, ciao,
See you.
see you.